100 duck-sized horses or 1 horse-sized duck?
Have this man removed. What are you talking about?
Is he the one that asked the hot dog question yesterday?
That was crazy. That was on the ask. Yeah, if you want to ask a question, hashtag AskWD, but don't ask me, do I want to, if I was a hot dog, would I eat myself? Okay, 100 what? If I was 100 pigs, sorry, what did you say?
100 duck-sized horses or 1 horse-sized duck.
Okay, hang on a minute. Duck-sized, little tiny horses. What are they doing? Just walking around? Were they charging at me?
Did you fight them?
Would I like 100 of them or 1 duck the size of a horse?
Yeah.
I don't know. Although 100 horses, I could ride them. So I'm going to have the 100 duck-sized horses. Yeah, I love them. I love them. Okay, let's talk about that. This is great.
What's the worst costume you've ever had to wear and why?
I think the most challenging ones are the heavy ones. The droids can often be the worst because they're very, very heavy and just difficult to manipulate. And then when you have to start walking in those big feet, yeah, they're very, very difficult. You can't see anything. You're relying on somebody in your ear to tell you, left a bit, right a bit, stop. I think, particularly Marvin from The Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy, that was a really heavy costume. And I couldn't see anything. I had screens inside that showed me the view from a camera that was mounted up between his eyes and another view from the film camera. So between the 2 images I can kind of understand my surroundings and hopefully not bump into any of the set or any actors. So yeah, that was the most challenging. Elliot, who's back there?
Yeah, you've been an integral part of both the Harry Potter world and Star Wars, so I'm curious what the difference was between those experiences and the fan community. Thank you.
Well, that's very in-depth. Yeah, you hear that? Pigs and horses or ducks. Both those worlds are obviously well realised and very, very rich, and the franchises have been huge. But working on the films was not they weren't dissimilar really. I mean, especially the way that we've been making the newer Star Wars films, in the fact that the sets are all fully there, whereas the prequels, were very much in the digital realm, much more. So your imagination was really challenged as a performer in those films. But things like Harry Potter, the Great Hall is a fully realised environment. That you can walk around, and to all intents and purposes, it's as if you're in a real old building. And much like Star Wars, the stuff we've done on Solo and Rogue One and the newer films has been there as a set, fully realised. And so they're not unlike. I mean, they're huge movies. They take a long time to make. They're very expensive. But it all comes down to an actor in front of a camera. However much money they're spending, it's all about that intimate moment. And that's where the magic happens, in that one focused moment. It's incredible, isn't it? All these hundreds of people and millions of dollars all come down to these very intimate small moments that are captured by the camera. And so yeah, they're both quite similar in that way. Okay.
What was the most difficult movie to film?
I know, they're all challenging. I think some people have this perception that an actor has a very glamorous life, and it's all premieres and champagne and standing on stage in Chicago. But it's kind of, sometimes it's pretty grueling. I'm not getting my violin out here, but sometimes you are working really ridiculously long hours in quite harsh environments, because what you see on screen is often not added in afterwards. It is the environment. It has to be snowy and cold. We go somewhere where it's snowy and cold. For example, Willow, we filmed it at the top of a mountain in New Zealand. Thank you. We didn't just fake all of that. It was as you see it. Especially, all those years ago, we didn't have the use of such brilliant digital trickery as we do now. So we had to make sure that what we were capturing was what we needed, rather than being able to fix a lot of it in post-production as we can today. But yeah, I think films are very, very challenging and difficult, but if you're an actor and you love to perform, then it keeps you coming back for more. Okay, we've got time for a couple more questions, and I'm going to have to dash. Let's see who...
Right back here, on your left. Look to your left.
Got it.
I'm here with George.
Mr. Focus.
Hi, Warwick. How's it going?
Good.
So, just a little curious. What was the best bit of advice I ever gave you?
He sounds like George.
The vet, he does. It's really weird because I can't really see him, so it's actually freaking me out a bit. Well, what's the best? You did give me a great bit of advice, actually, George, just after Willow. You know, the movie was about to come out. He said, you know, when this movie comes out, things are going to be a bit different for you. You know, you're going to be recognised. And he said, one thing you should remember, though, is don't believe the hype. Always stay true to who you are. Don't let anybody influence that. And it's really good advice because, you know, it is a crazy world and people say stuff to you and all of this, but I think you just got to always remember who you are and kind of your beliefs and follow those paths, because, you know, you do see actors in life who get kind of swept along in this kind of tidal wave of adoration, I suppose, and it can change them a little bit, but I've always just made sure that I kind of stay grounded and real, and I thank you, George, for imparting that very wise advice to me all those years ago. Thank you for that.
Right in the middle.
One more question. Yes, thank you.
What's your favorite apart from Willow?
My favourite apart from Willow? Gosh. You know, I think it has to be Star Wars outside of Willow. I mean, I'm just, and I'm not just saying that because of the room that I'm in, you know. I was 7 when I saw A New Hope, and the film had a massive impact on me. You know, because prior to that, the only movie I'd seen in a theatre was Bambi. And so to see something like Star Wars, it completely blew my mind. And when I was 7, I didn't know that by the time I was 11, I would be actually part of this, and it then would become a real big part of my whole life and career from that point to now. And so it's definitely a favourite, and I kind of feel a real affinity with all of you guys, and you know, I get excited when I hear the announcements that we make here at Celebration and the anticipation of the new films, and when I'm working on these films, you know, I kind of can't help having those fan moments, do you know what I mean? When we're working on, especially on things like Rogue One and Solo, where, you know, we were looking back to that era when I first fell in love with Star Wars, around the original trilogy, you know, and I was seeing things being made and recreated that we saw. Like, for the first time I saw one of the mouse droids in the workshop, I freaked out. Like, that's a mouse droid, you know, and they're so iconic, some of these things, that yeah, they're very, very special. And so yeah, I had, while working on the film, many a fan moment, and yeah, I get some odd looks when I freak out and stuff, but they kind of eventually understand. But thank you for your questions. Really, really great questions. Thanks for listening. I'm going to hand back to DJ Elliott now, who will take you through to Showtime, which is 11 o'clock. Yeah, very excited to find out what they have to say about this brand new Galaxy's Edge. And yeah, see what they have to say. We've got some lightsabers up here now. Look at these. Hey, it's all very impressive. Oh, yes. And the sound effects that go along with it as well. Colours. People often ask what colour lightsaber would I have. Has anyone got a yellow thing in Star Wars? Are there any yellow lightsabers? Because that's my favourite colour, so a yellow one would be nice. Oh, look, whose is that one? It's all ripply. I like that one. Okay, enough small talk about lightsabers. I will hand over to DJ Elliott. I will see you.
I'm good. You can stay as long as you want.
Well, nobody's telling me to go.
No, I heard a story. You told the story when we were together in Scotland.
Yeah.
And then I ran into the other person in the story, and he told me the same story.
Did they match up?
No, he told me that I should give you a real pair of sunglasses the next time I saw you.
There we go.
So tell about your first fan interaction.
See, these aren't real, are they?
No, but that was a great story.
Yeah. Well, I was wearing a pair of Ray-Bans, much like the ones I have on now, and I was sitting on a plane headed for New Zealand to shoot Willow. And they were sunglasses I bought, you know, very, very cheaply for about $5. And I couldn't actually see through them. The lenses were that bad. But for me, it was all about the image. It was looking cool. I was sat in first class for the first time I'd ever flown first class. And I realised that I should fly first class from that point on because the legroom was very useful. And I'm sitting there, yeah, this is it. Hollywood, here we come. Even though we were going to New Zealand. And Val Kilmer steps on the plane and he took the glasses off my face like that, and he slapped them in half. I said, "What are you doing?" I said, the image and everything." He said, "They're terrible." He said, These are much cooler, and pulled out 2 pairs of real Ray-Bans and gave them to me. He had just bought them in duty free, so they weren't discounted, but nonetheless, the thought was there, wasn't it? You know, he was thinking of me, and you know, that really, for me, sums up Val, because he loves to kind of joke, and not everyone gets that it was a joke, okay? And that's why sometimes he's got this kind of rather bad press, but you have to kind of stick with it, and eventually you'll understand that he was joking when he said something. But yeah, thank you for reminding me of that.
He told me it was so hard to keep a straight face. Doing
Really?
that with you, because he's like, I think he was afraid of me when I first saw him.
I kind of was. Yeah, he's like, he is slightly intimidating.
He's like, here's this little kid in these really cheap. He's like, I get on the plane. There's this kid with these really cheap Ray-Bans. He didn't even realize you were in the movie with him.
Oh, yes, he did.
That's
One bit of advice he kept giving me while we were filming, he said, you always forget to breathe. I think during scenes I would be acting but not breathing, which is really weird. He kept saying after, he said, remember to breathe. Weird.
I was just excited that, like, when I asked him the story, he's like, oh no, that really happened. I just thought you made everything up. I mean, you're such a great storyteller. Like, I could listen to you talk all day long.
Thank you very much. You know that rap thing, did you make that?
No, I illegally downloaded it.
But I can't believe somebody's taken the trouble to do it.
No, I just illegally downloaded it from the internet.
Okay. You know what, there's something we should
I think I owe you some money for that.
But no, somebody's mixed it. It was a lot better. It was not as, that's better than the one in the movie. That's better.
Oh no, I cleaned it up.
Okay. I'm going to have to go in a minute, but one thing I think you can prepare for the next one of these that we do.
Got it.
The next pre-show. There is a song about Willow, right?
Okay.
And it is pretty bizarre, but we should get that and play that.
I can find it. I'll find it.
Yeah,
I got a break, so I'll...
But it was like a band that did it, right? Or kind of it's really bizarre. It's really bizarre.
I'll look it up
Play
and see if I can find it.
Yeah, find some other ones. There'll be some weird stuff.
Some other songs. You've sung lots of. Oh, you mean you're genius? You've got tons of music in
You want
there.
to play something from that?
There we go.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, I have to go now, I'm afraid. I would love to stay here and play with you longer, but I can't. Yeah, have a great celebration. Enjoy yourselves. Do come back here to the celebration stage whenever you can, and I'll see you back. But of course, be with you, everyone. Ladies and gentlemen,